What's up, tea freaks? It's Denny.
And this is James from TeaDB, bringing you episode 300.
We're drinking some good stuff. Good.
Yeah.
Excited.
So, we're just doing something basic today. We're drinking tea. We're having just one of the nicer tea cakes I own.
Cool.
The tea is the 2006 Yangqing Hao Chawangshu. So, from a really nice area of Yiwu.
Okay.
And yeah.
Awesome. Expect to have it taste a little sweet, a little strong maybe. Still sort of young. Well, I don't know. It's not that young actually.
13 years now?
Yeah. Jeez, time flies.
Like these 2006 teas, their parents better start thinking about college tuition, you know?
Seriously.
Yeah, you don't want to be too slow about that.
It's been 300 episodes. Pretty cool.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
one a week, so that means 300 weeks. You do not need to be a mathematician to calculate that.
It's many years. And, yeah, it's been...
Yeah, that's
awesome.
almost 6 years.
So I know, it's awesome.
Wow.
Yeah. It's cool because, so maybe people don't know this story actually, but why don't we just tell this while James is prepping the tea? We started this project with the goal of just doing, I think it was 16 episodes?
Yeah, 12 or
like
16,
that?
yeah.
And we just sort of said, look, if we have fun doing it, probably aren't going to have like a lot of traction, but we'll just feel it out. Oh, yeah.
Nope.
Smells. Ooh, it's good. Yeah. And, yeah, that was a long time ago, and we just have enjoyed doing it together, basically. And certainly James is like the expert. I just kind of follow along. I'm like the donkey in your Don Quixote.
He's Don Quixote.
You're Don Quixote.
Oh, okay, sure.
I'm the person who you're riding on the back of. I'm doing all the work. That's not true. I'm doing none of the work.
You do all the physical labor of TeaDB.
Yeah.
You lift the heavy guy one.
Good color. Starting to get that aged look. I'm excited to try this too because these often have smells medicinal, potent. These Yiwu teas often have, in my experience, a fair amount of disparity in the smell to sweetness ratio. So it smells like an ass kicker, but these tend to be, at least in my experience, they can be sweet. Still fairly yellow.
Yeah, one of our favorite areas, I think, for both of us, as far as pu'er goes.
For sure. Yeah. I enjoy that complement of sweetness to the intensity of a solid raw. So
yeah.
Cool. But yeah, that was a long time ago. We've been doing it ever since. It's been awesome. Everyone who's been watching, you guys are nuts, but it's great.
Yeah.
It's cool. We have, like thousands of subscribers watching. It's crazy.
Yeah, over 5,000. I'm looking forward to getting over 9,000. That might be a few more years, but...
If you haven't yet hit that ting button, bell thing, make sure to do that so you're constantly worried about watching TeaDB.
Yeah, you don't want to get behind. Oh, man. Yeah, and if this is your first episode, you have, like, a lot of videos.
I calculated it. You could watch us, like, goofing off drinking tea for days straight. Literally.
And those would be the best days of your life.
Best days of your life.
Right. I just binge watched TeaDB.
Cheers. Sweet, medicinal.
It's a bit of that menthol camphor.
Yeah. Strong. Little hints of some sort of smoked flavors. Just a little bit. Already has a good body on it.
Yeah, a tea like this too, we would expect it to brew out for a very long time. So this is steep number 1, but we really are literally just getting started with this tea.
Yeah. So with these sorts of teas are just not. These flavor profiles are so atypical, right? There's no food that tastes like this. It's so unique. That that sort of medicinal, almost sort of fungal earthiness, decomposing.
It might be closest to like a Chinese cough drop or something like that, rather than like a familiar food or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
But it has such a. At this point, now it's a familiar flavor profile for drinking these older.
Yeah, for us.
Raws.
It's like, oh, what's this taste? It tastes like a raw pour with a little bit of age. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But it's such a unique flavor profile for drinking or consuming anything. Period. So yeah, let's give this another smell.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, it does definitely have that mentholiness. It was a solid description. In terms of the Yangqing pot we're using here, James, how large is it? How much tea do we got going on in it?
It's about 95 to 100 milliliters. We're using 6.5 grams or so. So
Tastes great, nice and potent, but not too much.
Right.
Awesome balance on this.
Yeah, not really astringent at all, at least on the first steeping. So we'll see.
We could get there. This is a great teapot size, especially for raw for two people.
Yeah, I really like this. Is probably my favorite size, 9,500 milliliters.
Right.
Good for one person, good for two people.
Right.
If you have a whole family, then maybe not quite so good, but it's good for just a couple people. Cheers.
Cheers. Sweet. Which is such a great compliment to these interesting notes, right? Yeah.
It's sweet, but it's also very kind of like syrup thick too. It's not a thin texture to it.
Yeah. It has, so it started off, the first steeping had enough body that, I was expecting this to be syrupy and viscous, very sensual on the mouth in a great way.
Yeah, sensual on the mouth.
Oh man,
That's
I was saying it out loud. I'm never gonna live that one down, am I?
Yeah. Well.
Oh, shout out to the future.
Yeah, if we ever truly get famous, then oh man. I mean, like, imagine if you run for office someday, which I don't think you will. But they just need to watch TeaDB. I'm pretty sure there's all kinds of stuff we both said.
Be a terrifying
look
future.
At what this guy said. Yeah.
Be a terrifying future for me to be elected to anything important.
Yeah.
Shout out, by the way, to the owner of Red Blossom Teas in San Francisco. Funny little connection. Thanks for watching. A buddy of mine, Stan, was out there and randomly mentioned my name in YouTube, and
we're internet famous in tea shops.
Making waves on
one tea shop at a time.
It's you know what though, it is so cool. The tea community, especially like when you're getting into sort of raw pu'ers and things like that, it's a small world. It really is. Yeah. I go to these tea shops, even in Poland or something like that, and you're drinking the same teas that you've been drinking from the same vendors in the States because people are shipping all over the world. It's cool. It's a small but awesome community. So. Right.
Yeah, and I mean, we recently got some kombucha kindly shipped to us, which we'll be featuring in a few times, and it's a pain in the butt to ship kombucha, so thank you to Ronald. But in there was a ton of packaging, and at the bottom, he accidentally had left like a shipping label, and it had come from Floating Leaves Tea in Ballard.
That's awesome.
So he had used Floating Leaves to do it. So yes, it is. I'm like, oh, I know those guys.
Totally.
Yeah,
it's cool.
Yeah.
Cheers.
Cheers.
A little earthier, minerally now.
Stronger,
sweet, not too astringent. I'd say that to do the sort of counterfactual, it's not fruity, it's not roasted. It has a peatiness to it, a earthiness, a sort of decomposing dirt sense that I like.
Right.
Oh, it's great.
Yeah.
Little, mushroomy, medicinal.
Yeah, more in the woody category than the fruity one.
Mm-hmm. And that smoke coming out of the aroma a little bit, not tasting it quite as much anymore, but potent. I'd say it's getting not quite bitter, but certainly a little mouth puckering going on.
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
And this one too, judging from the color, might have some of it.
And from a transition of the color perspective, James, what have you noticed going through the steepings here?
Well, it started out lighter for the first couple, and I reheated the water for steep number 3. I think we're going to keep reheating it every couple steeps, make sure we're giving it our full blast, and the color is deepened a little bit for steeps 3 and 4. So kind of what you'd expect for a lot of these raw pours. Sometimes they can take a little bit to really hit their full strength, their full potency.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. And how long have you been storing this here?
I've had this keg for 3 or 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah. Before that, it was stored in Taiwan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. So for the majority of its life cycle, if you will, it's been in a wetter climate.
Right. Yeah. So I think
Humid
the
climate.
tea is somewhat similar to when I first got it.
Right.
Yeah. Cheers.
Cheers. Yeah, sweet, minerally, but not in that wooey sort of way. In a deeper, more earthy. The texture of the actual liqueur itself is wonderful. It is still syrupy, but it's not too much. Not like, sometimes I'll overbrew a ripe puer like on the first steeping, just like walk away and then be like, go, and then I'll have enough balls to just go for it. Don't ever do that. First off, especially not on an empty stomach. But it's like you're just drinking olive oil.
And that's probably one of the more pleasant teas to do it with, honestly.
Yeah.
It's like raw pour,
That's
that'd just be like a bitter burst.
Ugh.
That'd be like, drink your medicine, Denny.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. For me, the steep is really dense. It's more in that woody, oaty category. It's a little less sweet maybe than the first couple steeps, but still quite enjoyable. And I'm really enjoying the depth of this tea. I think this is a tea that you really want to pay attention to your body.
And the liqueur now, from a yellow, is deepening and getting into closer to that red as this tea ages, especially in a more humid environment, maybe even someplace like Seattle. It would become a little bit more of that red quicker. And this tea is strong. Like, it has a very strong residual flavor in the mouth. I'm not getting as much of the full body feel, although it's a warming tea for sure. Mm-hmm. This is an attention-demanding tea.
And by strong, you don't even mean that it's like really bitter or astringent or, as you've said before, gasoline. It's just thick and
just a lot of flavors going on.
Right.
Yeah, totally. It is bitter, though, I will say that. I mean, at this point now. Not in a bad way, but it definitely has that strength. I would say that this tea isn't quite as petroleum-y as gasoline-y. I'd say it's smoky, but doesn't have quite as much of that maybe hint of acrid intensity that some teas can have, especially when they're young.
So do you get the smoke when you're drinking it, or mainly in the aroma?
Yeah, it's the aroma. It's a hint of it. Okay. I think it's almost a compliment to the earthiness of the tea itself. So it's even, my palate might just be, frankly confusing me there, but beautiful liqueur, good energy immediately off of this.
Smells a little peaty, actually. So, getting some of those notes.
Yeah, definitely.
A little more so than early on.
Yeah, and this tea, to me, smells like and tastes like it has quite a ways to go yet in the aging process for it to really develop and become even softer on the palate and more mature.
Hit its full potential.
Yeah, but it's still really good right now.
Yeah, maybe go through college, a little bit of grad school, maybe get a PhD. We have high hopes for this tea. I have high hopes.
You're a dreamer, little man. Get in there. Change the world.
Yeah, you're just a teenager now. You should probably start acting up, little turd. Cheers. Talk to your teas, guy. Talk to your tea leaves. That's how you age them well.
Yeah. Getting into those greener flavors, I'd say. Some of those younger notes. Bold. I don't want to say heavy, but gosh, strong.
I think heavy might be right, actually. Yeah. It's I'm actually enjoying this steep too. It's strong in a little different way. It's not really very bitter for me, at least, but it's very powerful. Yeah, it's just in a lot of the higher notes that some of these teas can have starting out, and then they'll die off. This tea just is like, it's bassy. It just has strong, deep flavors in it. Right. Which is great. It's interesting. Yeah, you could tell there's just a lot in the tea. I don't know if I'm tasting the Yiwu region as much as I was in the beginning at this point in the tea.
I think that could bring us back, especially later on in the steepings when we start to lose some of the intensity and some of those sweeter notes come back.
Yeah, I think that's right. And to clarify, this tea is from a specific part of Yiwu that's known for being usually especially strong. So stronger tea than normal. And I think this tea more or less fits that bill.
For sure.
Yeah.
Mom test?
I don't know.
I don't think so.
Okay.
It's so strong.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, maybe if you want your mom to have lots of energy. I don't know. Is that something moms want?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Get off the couch, ladies.
Yeah.
and gents.
Yeah.
And everyone else who doesn't identify with that.
Yeah.
We're a very PC show. Not true.
Yeah. We've pissed off only a few different groups.
It's like Nietzsche. He just complained about everybody. Except for Emerson.
Yeah. Equal
like
opportunity hater.
Coming back actually to some more of the sweeter notes now. Menthol. Yeah. It's almost yeah. I like the bitterness of this.
Yeah. I really like the menthol taste in tea and Yiwus, and I think that draws me to teas like this. I really like it when it sort of develops that note. I suspect it's probably kind of a hit or miss note for people.
Yeah, I can see that. It adds a lot of character and complexity to this tea, and I think this tea is a dynamic tea. Although we certainly got into the meat and potatoes of this tea fairly early on in the steepings. I'd say like steeping 2 was, we're right in it. And how does we're gonna brew a few more of these, but you've been drinking this tea on and off for probably a little bit of time now, a few years.
Yeah.
In terms of the performance of it over a long day of steeping, well, what do you think? How many steeps would you get out of this on average for some of the folks
I
out
could
there?
probably easily get 15 out of this.
Yeah.
More if I really want to push it or want to extend the session out. For me, a tea like this would be either enjoyed in a context such as this one with someone else, or I would brew this tea over the course of the day, maybe even 2 days, just to really enjoy it. Because I feel like, we're splitting these infusions and stuff like that. But if you're just one person and you had this amount of tea, this is actually the only tea we're having today. I think it might be a little bit much.
Yeah.
So maybe doing like 5 or 6 in the morning, 4 or 5 after lunch, and then like 4 or 5 in later afternoon.
Yeah.
Something like that might work out
totally.
well for a tea like this. And that's probably how I do it if when I solo session this tea. It's like, this would not be a tea where I'm drinking 2 other teas in the day. It's a tea that I'm going to enjoy, and it's going to be my sole tea of the day.
Yeah, it is definitely there in terms of strength, flavor, body, presence, good energy. Yeah, it's quite lovely. Not delicate, strong.
Yeah,
potent.
Yeah, you could see how something like this could continue to age, and probably was quite strong as a young tea as well.
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I would assume it almost would be too strong early on.
Yeah, and you can see we're still keeping these infusions super short.
Right.
All day on 7 and 8.
And the liqueur is excellent, clean, nice and golden orange. Leaves are they're starting to brown and fairly large too.
Yeah, they are.
A little bit of green, but not even really. Pretty, I can see the age on them for sure.
Yeah.
Strong.
Indeed.
Slight sweetness on the aftertaste too now, which is great.
Cheers.
Cheers.
A little sharper, actually.
It's lost a little bit of the body. It's a little bit less viscous now, which is going to make sense at this point in the process here. Strong tea.
Yeah.
This is where you would this is kind of the tea drunk qualifying tea, I'd say.
Right. Maybe a tea not where you would finish the session on this if you were doing it in a group.
Yeah. I like that it's coming back to a little bit of the sweeter characteristics now, for me at least. Not saccharine necessarily, but just, coming back to the sweetness, the intense bolder notes that we were noting earlier
Right.
have calmed down a little bit, having a little bit better appreciation of the higher notes. Yeah.
I definitely agree with it. I think some of these teas that are especially on the strong end, like the steeps in the middle, they can be appreciable. You can enjoy them, but maybe your favorite steeps are at the beginning and after, like at this point where it's just starting to lose a bit of its potency.
Yeah.
Softens up a little bit.
Right.
It's a little easier to drink.
But there's just different characteristics throughout the process. Those middle cups that we were having, they had a wonderful texture. They provide you great energy. They're interesting and just to be experiencing physically. So there are different aspects of the tea that you're, at least I'm enjoying throughout this whole process.
And they really show you the potency of the tea too, which is something that's important if you're considering sort of aging pu'er as well.
Yes.
I guess the other point I'd make that Denny kind of made as well is that this also shows you sort of like one of the benefits of brewing teas in this way, like if you were to brew it in a mug or something like that, it'd be just a totally different experience. It wouldn't be like steep 1 is like this, steep 3 is like this. It'd be like it's all combined together. So we're able to pick up some of the different nuances and things of this tea.
Totally.
Just on the way that we're brewing.
Yeah, totally. And so appreciating it in that sense by pouring it slowly, experiencing it become a dynamic tea itself, it heightens the experience overall. Doesn't mean you shouldn't go out there and just enjoy the tea that you want to, the way you want to, certainly. There are no hard and fast rules here, but
other than you're doing it wrong and you should subscribe.
Oh man. We decided actually on this episode to not do something super stupider than normal, let's say, because we're gonna save that for later. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Coming to a TeaDB near you.
Yeah. In the meantime, check out the amazing health benefits of pu'er tea, where we definitely hold our bowels together.
It's sweeter now.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's great. Going through all these different flavors. Wow. I'm like.
Do you want one more, or do you think we're?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
We're gonna do one more. I'm gonna call it there.
So this is steep number 9. So this is probably faster than we'd drink if we were not filming this.
Yeah. I mean, I think realistically, you were to enjoy this tea with friends, it would be sensible to drink this more slowly than we have been. It's just compressing a lot of intense flavor in a tea like this that is so much enjoyed after you've finished your cup and you're sitting there chatting with your friends and still having the taste and the sensations and having those taste bud receptors happening in your stomach even. So it's really, yeah. Not that this isn't a great experience, but I'm leaving. I'm out.
Yeah.
Taking off.
You're going too fast. I think the tea is definitely sort of at the part where it's coming down just a little bit. So if you want to maintain sort of that strength, you got to extend that steep time to 30 seconds or something like that. But it's also a time where I would probably normally give the tea a break, come back to it in a few hours.
Yeah, definitely. And just because, to piggyback back at that point, the flavor is just so strong, you give it a second. If we were to continue drinking this now, it would come off almost like a weaker tea, even though it's still totally potent. But you step away from it for 2 hours, you come back, and it's just as strong because you've given it some, giving your taste buds some time to relax. So, yeah, this is certainly a tea that you can step away from, come back to, and it's going to be delicious.
Yeah. Cheers, y'all.
Cheers. It's sweet.
Yeah, it's this tea might pass the mom test if your mom likes menthol.
Right. Yeah.
But it's losing a lot of its potency, but is still very, very flavorful, and still kind of like a minerally sweetness to it. Yeah, quite nice.
Almost hints of some small hints of fruit in this too. At this point, just kind of a plumminess and.
Interesting. Let's see if I can get any of that in there, Roma.
Yum. James, thanks for doing this with me for so long, and vice versa. Thanks for having me on the show, man. It's been awesome.
Well, thanks to you as well for appearing on the show.
All you suckers out there, get out of here.
Yeah, subscribe. Well, if you've lasted this long, you're like 30 minutes into this video, so props to you.
Yeah, seriously.
Yeah.
You're a sadistic weirdo.
Yeah, even if you're watching in 2x speed, which I'm sure some of you are.
Probably a good idea. Can folks pick this tea up, James?
I think you can still.
Yeah.
I think you can get it through Emmett. I haven't checked lately. I'm not sure what the price is anymore.
How would people get in touch with Emmett?
He has a site, yangqinghao.com, where he lists a bunch of these teas, so you can definitely look at that. He's been sourcing the teas from Tainan, Taiwan, for a few years now, so
cool.
Quite a while. So yeah, you could definitely check that out.
Sweet.
Definitely a tea that I think we both enjoyed.
Yeah. Sweet. Check out that. Check us out on TeaDB.org. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Like the video if you like the video. If you didn't like the video,
subscribe.
hit the bell icon.
Yeah. Wow.
I don't ever do that. I can never actually do that.
I don't think I've ever done that.
I don't want texts about the videos, but you might. So, hopefully you guys have enjoyed sticking with us. We are going to keep on drinking some teas and keep on making some videos. Stick along and stay tuned. We'll see you guys next time.
Cheers.